charged for obeying God, and penalties are punishment for disobeying God. The book of Leviticus was written by Moses at the foot of Mount Sinai. The book of Leviticus served as a handbook for the priests and the Levites. Thus, it is called Leviticus. This book outlined worship duties. It was a guidebook to show the Hebrew people how to live holy. Now, what is holy? We use that word a lot, holy. Holy, I submit to you today, is the revealed character of God. His nature, his righteousness, his purity, and his love. That's what it means to be holy. Can we call ourselves holy? Do we show forth the character, the nature, the love of God? In Leviticus, we are reminded that God physically removed his people from the land of Egypt. But now in the book of Leviticus, God has to spiritually remove Egypt from his people. I said God physically removed his people from the land of Egypt. And now in Leviticus, he is spiritually removing Egypt from his people. Amen. Hallelujah. Amen. Israel spent 2 years at the foot of Mount Sinai after they left Egypt just to listen to God and to receive instruction from him on what to do, what not to do, how to live. Exodus focused on the redemption. It focused on how God demonstrated what it meant to be saved, about being delivered, if you will. And he used that time to develop them from just a group of people into a righteous nation. In Leviticus, God, and it's an awesome book. If you haven't studied, I encourage you to study it. In Leviticus, God established the foundation for cleansing. He established the foundation for worship. He established the foundation for service. Amen? Amen. The Mosaic covenant, as we remember, demanded perfect obedience. But in Leviticus chapter 26, verses 41 through 42, the Lord points out that the people had an uncircumcised heart. And this uncircumcised heart made it virtually impossible for them to obey God. And because their uncircumcised heart did not allow them to obey God, they were continually being pounced upon by curse after curse after curse. The curses set in because that's what the covenant said. Obey, everything will go fine for you. Disobey, the curse is going to set on yourself. The law, if you will, established the standard for a righteous and holy lifestyle. The law, as we recalled in Foundation in the Word and Bible study, was instrumental. The law was instrumental in exposing and identifying sin. But that's all it could do. The law could not deliver or cleanse the people from sin. Even with the law, we find that the people of God continue to sin. They continue to do wrong. They continue to disobey God. But just like God, he always gives his people a way out. Amen. God gave the promise of grace that was not based upon the Mount Sinai law of Moses, but instead this promise of grace was based upon the promise that God made with Abraham. Amen? God promised that he would circumcise the people's hearts, which would empower them. This circumcision would empower the people to obey God and to abide in his holy presence. The Mount Sinai, a Mosaic covenant of the law, is just like, when we study it, we find it is just like the first covenant that God gave Adam in the Garden of Eden. In that covenant with Adam, God said in Genesis chapter 2, verses 16 through 17, he said, of every tree of the garden you may freely eat, but of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil you shall not eat. For in the day that you eat of it, you shall surely die. And what happened? Ate of the tree. Adam disobeyed God. And he tried to blame Eve for disobeying God, for not doing what God said. Eve tried to blame the serpent. But God wasn't hearing any of the excuses. He said, I told you what would happen to you if you